Hey, good morning, Patriots. It's time to get up and have some coffee. Good morning, all. It's great to have another show with you all joining us for our chat and discussions. I'm your host, Tony Schaefer, and I am joined this morning, as always, by, as I always call him, the Ed McMahon of Rumble, Chris Bourdain.
Heyo.
Good morning, Chris. Heyo. So at least you don't go stumbling around the beach in California looking for your car in the morning like Ed used to do. Just saying. Not that Ed
No.
was. So,
Tony, where's my car? That would be a great movie.
that would be a great movie. And so we've got a lot to talk about today. We as you all know, because I hope you were all here yesterday, our Patriot friends and family, we were on the air when they announced that Tim Walz was going to be Kamala Harris's running mate. You know, he abandoned his fellow soldiers to become a fellow traveler. Did you know that, Chris?
I thought he became the blues traveler, but I guess that's a different story.
Yeah, no, he is a blue traveler in that he's like a Democrat, and they changed the Democrat the flag of Minnesota into a Somali flag. I guess that's kind of blue. It is blue.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're wrong. It is blue. It's a blue flag. It is all. It's like shades of blue. Yeah. So it's problematic. And did you notice? Folks who follow me here and on the show, and Chris and we're movie guys, right, Chris? We love movies, right? Is
we
that safe
do.
To say? I think it's safe to say.
We're movie buffs, movie people, if you will.
So I cannot get over the resemblance of Tim Walz to a character in a popular movie called Pulp Fiction. Did you notice he looks just like the Gimp in Pulp Fiction? I don't know if you could bring that up or not, but if you look at that scene in Pulp Fiction when they're in the basement and they said bring out the Gimp, I just saw in my mind as they brought out Tim Walz the Gimp and Pulp Fiction yesterday. I think there's so many resemblances there. You know, since I think he says something about Vance and a couch, it's like, oh, okay, that means he's like into appliances. And no further do you have to look than the Gimp in Pulp Fiction to see the resemblance. Because
it's funny, that's on AMC actually.
Those are the guys watching the Gimp.
They're watching the Gimp. I'm trying to remember this now. Okay,
yeah, I know it's all coming back, but it's the Gimp is all in dressed in black. But that is probably I don't know if I think there may be something to that. I don't know. So
there he is.
There he is. There he is.
Gimp. That's the Gimp.
See,
okay,
they're indistinguishable.
Back to me. Yeah.
They're indistinguishable.
Hey, any movie with Vinnie Barbarino in it, I'm watching.
That's right. So there you go. See, now who doesn't recognize the resemblance between Waltz and the Gimp in Pulp Fiction? There he is. See,
there's
you can't tell them apart.
Makes a lot of sense. And in fact,
you can't tell them apart. You can't tell them apart.
Nope. You probably can't tell their policies apart either.
So yeah, go ahead. Go with the policy here, Chris.
Well, here you go. Now, first off, what I'm going to tell you is this: the left likes to make up names for our side and everything else. With Kamala Harris and Ted Walz atop the ticket, the Democrats need to change their name, or they will change their name, or we change it for them. We should be using this to the American National Socialist Party, because that's true. That's what it is. They're now the American National Socialist Party. Ted Walz actually showed it with pride too. If you want to hear him, remember that white dudes for Kamala thing?
Oh yeah.
Well, this is him from there. Check it out. And it's all him. I'm not doctoring this. This is not a cheap fake, deep fake, or whatever you want to call it.
Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. Just do the damn work. So I got to tell you, when
that is exactly what he said at White Dudes.
Quiet part out loud. That's right. don't shy away from putting on your Mao jacket and getting your little red book out.
Oh, he called himself the anti-Tommy Tuberville too, twice during that conversation. Let's see. So he compares himself to Tommy Tuberville because he was a high school football coach. It's like Al Bundy. You know what? Vote for me. I played high school football.
Yeah, this guy
touchdowns, one game.
Yeah, so we're going to bring in Fran Ventura soon, but I want to get through a couple things that our folks want to hear about. So everybody in the chat is clamoring about his military service. Well, let me walk through that and be very clear. For those who want a longer, well, I don't think it's going to be longer now because I'm going to spend a little time on it here. This guy's a fraud. So my friend Pete Hegsteth tweeted about it today. Pete, by the way, Pete Hegsteth is from the Minnesota National Guard, so he knows. So go check out Pete's post on this. Pete and I are friends. Full disclosure, we know each other, like each other. He was an officer. He deployed. So I'm just saying that's legit. That Pete's criticism is legit. And let's break this down. So this guy Walls, by the way, did you know he's older than I'm older than him by almost 2 years? That he's he's younger than me? It's like, really? He's younger than me, Chris. Believe it or
it's
not.
like Archie Bunker syndrome. Yeah, Archie Bunker.
He is younger than
Well,
me.
Carroll O'Connor was like 4 when he started.
Yeah. So anyway, so back to the Walls, the last Walls. So we should do a song on that. That's great. We'll pull out the band up on Cripple Creek. We could do something with Cripple Creek, right? There's that's a lyric rich song to do a parody of Walls and Harris.
Well, using Harris kind of crippled the ticket anyway. So that's a
Well,
different
anyway,
story.
speaking of crippling, so this guy's in the Guard. He served for 24 years. Now, this is where it gets interesting. He re-enlisted for 6 years, right on the 9/11 attack anniversary. So on 9/11, 2001, he enlisted for 6 years. Now, an enlistment is an obligation. An obligation in this case is a contract. When you sign up, I'm an officer. I serve at the convenience of the Congress and the president. I'm commissioned. That means you keep going, and I'm technically, they could still recall me. Chris, could you see them recalling me right now? That would be a train wreck. Man, oh man, that would be hilarity. Anyway, I technically, as an officer, I'm retired. So I have my wallet around here somewhere. I don't know where it is.
We'll find it. Unless somebody stole it. Were you in New York?
Yeah, no. So here, I'll just pull it out because I did this yesterday. So without giving away anything that I'm not supposed to, you can see there, it says Lieutenant Colonel retired, right? You see that?
Yes.
Can you all see that? Can you see that, Chris?
I see it, and I see it. I'm going to pull it up a little more.
So I'm retired. It says, see there, Tony Schaefer? I'm retired. I'm retired as a lieutenant colonel. I am retired as a retired lieutenant colonel, right? So I can use my rank. We do. We abuse it, don't we, Chris?
Well, again, I can't say anything because you'll have to kill me if I agree with you or disagree with you.
I'm just saying. It's like, okay, I've got, he didn't have any of it. He didn't have an ID card. He has nothing. He has nothing because he abandoned his post. He got out. He left the service at a critical time when a warning order came down. And this is, again, on my Twitter feed. I tweeted the sergeant major who took his place. And he said, Iraq, I got things to do. I got laundry and I got a dog and I got to run for office. I can't deploy. What are you thinking?
Typical mentality, a socialist mentality right there.
So at the 5-year mark, before they deploy, he says, my hair's a mess. I don't want to look bad in front of the Iraqis. That would be bad, So basically, he literally abandons his guys. It's not just leaving the unit. Let me make this very clear. It's not just leaving the unit. He departed and left a leadership deficit. Well, he's not much of a leader, as we found out anyway, so maybe they didn't miss him much. But he was the senior enlisted leader. He was the man. Command sergeant major means you are the command sergeant major. You're the guy at the top. I have worked in my 31 and a half year career with a lot of really, really outstanding sergeant majors. Let me do a shout out to Sergeant Major Wendy Doherty. Wendy Doherty was my first command sergeant major. I love Wendy. Wendy, as a private, was on a Rhine River bridge next to Patton, peeing into the water. That's Wendy Doherty. He served for like 40 some years. He is a sergeant major. He started off as a private, was a warrant officer in Korea, retired in the 80s. As a matter of fact, I helped get President Reagan to do a letter of congratulations for him. But that's a sergeant major. This guy is a dollar store fraud. He basically had a vision, Chris, of being Bernie Sanders. Like, ooh, I could be Bernie Sanders. I've got to get my uniform off. What am I doing?
Well, they kind of look alike.
That's what happened. That's what happened. Yes. Well, there he is. See, there he is. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's got red underwear on. Just saying, probably. Not that I know these things. I don't.
Underoos. How about underoos? Remember
Underoos.
those?
Yeah, he's got. Yeah, I'm sure he's got like little Stalin faces all over his underwear, like little Joe
Yeah.
Stalin. So anyway, but I'm digressing, but I need to bring Fran in. But my point to you all: don't buy anything he says. This guy is a fraud. When he starts talking about equality, equity, all they can guarantee, my friends, is the bottom rung on the economic ladder. When they say, "Oh, we want to have equal outcome," the equal outcome is everybody's miserable. How do
Right.
you all not know this? It's
Oh,
like, they're not going to make you into to Ben Affleck and give you a race car and give you a really hot woman to marry and unmarry and marry and unmarry. That's not going to happen. Just saying. So
oh,
I'm sorry, Chris, didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no,
that's my
I'm
point.
good. This is all fantastic because everything piles up on this guy real fast. You want to hear some of his accomplishments?
Yeah, go through that. And they want to talk about the stolen valor thing, which I'll hit, but go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to get the stolen valor. That's a big one. Now, the accomplishments include, of course, signing into law a tampon bill in his home state,
Yes,
allowing underage boys' bathrooms to have
Tampon
tampon
Tim.
machines.
Yeah,
That's him. That's perfect. He also, let's see, here you go. During the COVID times, his strict COVID lockdown policies, including mandating masks indoors. He
yeah,
also set up a
yeah,
snitch line for citizens to rat on their neighbors, friends, and family
exactly.
members.
Just like
That's right.
Mao.
So you stand
That's right.
5 feet next to somebody instead of 6. Up, call the hotline. Oh no, somebody's not wearing a mask on the bus. Call the hotline. You got to snitch on your family members too. That's what these people are like. Waltz did nothing
Yep.
to stop the St. Floyd riots of 2020. That's right. 3 days it
Three
took for them to
days.
bring in the
3
National Guard.
days.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just like David Dinkins, by the way, during the Crown Heights riots. They're just blowing off steam. We got to let them run. Let them go. Um,
Yeah.
he tried to. He an $18 billion surplus to taxpayers was supposed to go back to them. Right? Didn't do it. He used it to sign into or to try these 100% clean energy by 2040 policies. So he
Ugh,
spent the money that was supposed to go back to taxpayers. So let's
he
understand
wasted.
what he's going to
Wasted
do
it.
here. Yeah,
He wasted.
government
Yeah.
waste. Let's see.
So yeah. So let
Oh,
me. We need to bring Fran in, but one other
yeah,
thing before we bring him in, I need
yes,
to address the stolen valor issue. So
absolutely.
at the end, at the end, as I mentioned, he was the command sergeant major. Well, he really wasn't. I kind of did the bait and switch to y'all there. Not that I meant to, but I'm telling you, he was designated as his unit's command sergeant major. That's a significant rank. That's a high rank. That's as high. That's the highest rank you can become as an enlisted member in the Army. And to retain that rank, once you're selected, you have to go to the Sergeant Major's Academy. It's required. The rules say it. And if you don't get your academic stuff done, they got to send you to a polishing school, a finishing school. You lose the rank. You get reduced one rank to E8, to Master Sergeant. Well, that's what happened to him. So what he's been doing, he's been lying. Now, I don't know if it's stolen value, but I can tell you it is flat out lying about the nature and character of his service. He was selected and was able to wear for a period of time the command sergeant major rank. That is 3 up, 3 down of the chevrons in the center, a star with reefs around it. That's
Like
the command
Sergeant
sergeant
Ross
major.
on Private Benjamin.
Maybe,
Sergeant
yeah.
Major
So
Ross.
anyway,
Excuse me. Yes.
anyway, so that's what he made it to. He failed to earn the rank permanently. He can, and basically the legal issue is, well, he can say he wore the rank. He wore the rank, but he did not retire, nor did he deploy, nor did he ever deploy to combat as a member of the military. Now, J.D. Vance, while he was only in the Marines 4 years, he did serve in combat in Iraq, just saying. So there's a difference with a distinction. But this guy is a fraud. You can argue that he is using a form of stolen valor to say he was the highest ranking enlisted member of Congress, because he's not. He's used the command sergeant major thing as a political foil. So just like Chris just did, he went through all of his phony baloney accomplishments. This guy is as real as Kamala Harris's intellect.
Oh, yes. Well, you know what? Ted Walz is a good pick because when Kamala Harris picked Ted Walz, he was serving as the governor of Minnesota, and when he was the governor of Minnesota, he governed a lot. So he was really good at governing. That's why if you pick the governor of Minnesota as the next vice presidential pick, that means he's a good governor.
Um,
That's my Kamala for the day. Thank you.
yeah. So the visions of Jesse Ventura came when you were saying all that. I like Jesse, by the way. I get along with Jesse back when he was governor.
Yeah.
Why can't we have a Jesse Ventura kind of governor who actually is a gonzo guy, but actually get things done, who loves people and wants to help them,
Well,
What the heck's up with that?
So what are some of the coolest people in life that you meet along along your trail of life, I guess, as people would say, have the last name Ventura?
Well, speaking of that, that's right. My God, I wonder if they're related. Let's bring in Fran Ventura of the National Veterans Parade. Good morning, Fran. Welcome to.
Good morning,
Up
guys. Thanks for
Patriots.
having me. Yeah,
See, I got our shirt on. See, I'm wearing our shirt.
yeah.
Got the
I have
flag
a
on.
version of it on too. See?
Yeah, that's great. So Fran is, of course, my boss when it comes to the Veterans Parade. As you all may remember, I was the first Grand Marshal of the National Veterans Parade. I was honored to do that, and Fran did a fabulous job. I mean, man, oh man, for he and Diane to pull this off, this is God's work. And so we're going to have him talk a little bit about that, and more importantly, man, oh man, we're going to Mar-a-Lago, aren't we?
That's right. February 13th.
You
Yeah.
lucky dogs.
Exciting stuff.
So we're going to have a fundraiser down at Trump's front yard or backyard in Mar-a-Lago on the 13th of February, which is the day before Valentine's Day. So I guess if you're Tim Walz, you'll be bringing your GIMP along with your wife, right? But we're not Tim Walz, so let's talk more about what happens. Yeah. So by the way, I'm glad it came up because I was thinking about famous governors of Minnesota, and my friend Jesse Ventura comes up. And are you guys related to Jesse Ventura by chance or not?
Not that I know of. I'm sure he had another legal name before that. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well, that's too bad because he's a cool. I like Jesse. I get along with him.
I do too.
I've been on his thing. So, well, back to us. Let's enough about Jesse. Let's talk about us. So, clearly we've made progress. You've made progress. Well, not the left wing progress, not the I'm going to make you all the same.
Hey, show your progressivism proud. All right.
That's not progressive.
We've made real progress, as in maturing the process, maturing the thing. You now have approval for the upcoming November of this year. November, is it the 11th? We have the parade.
November 10th. November 10th.
November 10th.
Sunday, November 10th. Yeah, the day before Veterans Day. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. So tell us about how that came to be, and we'll talk about Mar-a-Lago right after that.
Well, it's been a crazy year. We started out without even our nonprofit status confirmed until 2 weeks before the parade. So we really had to operate that first year almost as a private entity and just putting it together with, a leap of faith for people to participate, including you, which we want to always thank you.
Oh, yeah. No.
Deeply
I was happy to do
it.
it. Happy to do it.
And it was a lot of work. We didn't have, any staff, any committees, volunteers and that type of thing. So, it was basically raise the money that may or may not have been tax deductible, which turned out to be. We got our approval in October. Getting units, getting the service bands, meeting with at Fort McNair, where all the service bands, the commander for assigning service bands, we meet. They size us up and see that we were sincere. The city, the mayor's office of special events task force, there's 34 agencies we had to deal through to get all the permits. The National Park Service, Capitol Police, Secret Service, fire marshals, all these. Anyway, we got all the permits done for the first year and pulled it off and came away with a clean after action report. So they granted us national parade status, and our parade route is going to go all the way from the archives, National Archives on 7th, all the way to 17th at the White House Ellipse. So they gave us the full national parade route and annual designation, which was unheard of. The people from the Memorial Day parade, we volunteered. They said, it took us 10 years to get to that point with the city. So they congratulated us. And this year is going to be really exciting. Now that we had a template for it, and we've got a lot of units were on the fence because they weren't sure whether we were going to be some kind of protest march or
Oh yeah.
political, all of that.
Yeah.
So now they know we're for real. The city knows.
Right.
They're happy. It brings some sense of normalcy and celebration to veterans, to the city, which God knows they need. So there's some of the video. We're really excited. We have Scotty Hastings is going to be our Grand Marshal this year.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, Scotty is
A veteran, another great veteran with his own band, which I didn't have my own band. Maybe I can fix that.
You didn't have a band.
No, I didn't have my own band.
So yeah, he's bringing his entire band for the opening ceremonies. We're going to do a mini concert, about 35 minutes, starting at 11 a.m., right facing the archives. So he'll bring a loyal following. He's a Purple Heart Army Afghanistan veteran. Scotty, he took 9 bullets and was almost left for dead. In fact, his partner next to him was KIA, and he holds him dear to his heart every day. I've talked to Scotty about it. Anyway, we're going to do some special things to try and honor that and honor him as our Grand Marshal. And of course, he's going to do a concert. He's bringing his whole band and the tour bus and everything. We're going to do
that'd be
live
fabulous.
simulcast, sound. It's going to be it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, we'll see if we can get some other celebrities to show up too. As you know, I'm trying to work on that right now. I have nothing to announce yet, but we're going to see who else we can get to show up. So maybe we'll get to Tim. Maybe we get Tim Walls to show up and walk in a GIMP outfit. Wouldn't that be great?
Well, as long as he doesn't list himself as a retired sergeant major.
That's right. That's right. So, which he's not, by the way. He's not a command sergeant major. He's not a sergeant major. He's a master sergeant best. And by the way, while you're on that, Fran, he can't retire. He did not retire. Don't listen to what they're saying to you publicly. You cannot retire as a reservist or National Guard person until you're 60. He just turned 60. So now he can retire. You see that little ID card I showed you earlier?
Yeah.
I'm retired. You retire at 60 because it's the law. So he maybe you got to have a 20-year letter. You got to go through all this process. Trust me, it's a bureaucratic nightmare, as most things are. It takes you have to put in for retirement as a reservist or guard member. So he may have done that. I don't know. That's a good question for him, though. Anyway, back to Fran. But Fran, so we're looking at an amazing expanded event, longer route, right? We got a longer route this time too, right? We're going down the White House.
We have more of the service bands, the rifle companies, ceremonial rifle companies. We just talked to yesterday from the old guard, the military caisson, which I know you know the story, Tony. They were suspended for quite a long time, and they were just reinstated in June.
Thank God.
I think we're going to try and get them
Good.
As all gave some gave all type of a salute.
Yeah.
We don't want to step on Memorial Day parade, but especially with Scotty as the Grand Marshal and his float, I think it would be a great thing.
Well, good. Well, I'm just going to go on the air and I'm going to ask my friend Pat Ryder to see if he wants to attend, which is the spokesman for Lloyd Austin. So I'll send a note to Pat. I think it'd be good to have someone from the Secretary's office or just to hang out. I hope you don't mind.
I think so. And we've got and here's the thing: we've had some outreach for people that wanted to speak at the opening ceremonies. And if you're a veteran, we welcome them to be a part of it in any way. Any non-veteran or politician that wants to be there to support us, we welcome that. The one thing we can't do as a nonprofit is to make it appear that we're supporting one side or another.
No. That's why I'm saying, Pat Ryder works for SecDef. For Austin. So there's no partisanship there. And I love Pat. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I know we mix it up sometimes because we have different views of things, but Pat Ryder is a great man, great general. Yeah. Just saying. So, but I'll ask Pat maybe and get see if he can come out because we want everybody. We don't care
those
politics. We just want everybody to come out.
And especially with February 13th, I think that's another occasion that we really want to invite not just as speakers, but to have that presence there to support
Yeah.
the veteran causes that we're.
So I'll be promoting that as we go. So tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about that, because you've been working this for a while. I've known it, but you guys finally got it confirmed, and the website came up on Monday. So we're going to have it's a fundraiser, right? It's a fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago.
The reason being, and it's a fundraiser. All the expenses that the city incurs, they bill us for. So they bill us for over 100 police at 4-hour minimum at $72 an hour, and 32 blocking dump trucks from the DPW, and the plainclothes police, and the supervisors, and their Homeland Security units and their command posts. So our budget, we just did a mock-up of our 2024 budget. We have to spend $266,000 to put this on. So with that, we thought, rather than trying to fundraise throughout the year and take away from our time of actually, working with the veteran service organizations and of course building the parade, if we could do one fundraiser a year that would raise that kind of money, then we can concentrate on the mission. So there's no better
Just so
place.
people are clear, we don't get paid to do any of this. This is all.
No, we're all volunteers. We're out of
yeah.
pocket.
We are all volunteer. Yeah. We all donate our time and get this done, especially friends.
Right. There's
So
no
just saying,
salaries.
This
there's
is no, there's nothing. Yeah, no.
And everything from the bike racks to the porta potties to the production equipment for Scotty's mini concert is going to be $12,500 just for the equipment. And the technicians and the soundboard people and the camera people are all going to volunteer their time, but we still have to rent all this stuff, generators, all that. So we're getting a lot of help from people that are even in the private sector, professionals that are either donating their time or just covering their expenses, and nobody's making any money on this thing. That's for sure. So anyway,
but I can't think of a better venue than Mar-a-Lago to do something like this. So this is in Florida. By the way, Florida, February, that's a great time of year to be there, right? I mean, it's past the hot season, and you're going to be warm and toasty there at Mar-a-Lago, which is
that's prime time, and that little bit of rain they get in January is usually over, and it's also President's Day weekend, so it's a long weekend anyway,
and no hurricanes.
Well, not that we know of, unless someone shows up to be a blowhard. Do you think there's blowhards in both parties, though? Just saying, there could be a blowhard there.
Yeah, there's no one has the.
Maybe Lindsey Graham will show up.
Oh, there you go. Or McConnell. Mitch McConnell might show up.
He can't blow anything. He's barely able to articulate his name at this point.
Hey, that's what you said about Kamala Harris. And she's being hidden in the basement. You could hide McConnell for a couple of months, bring him out for a day.
See, now you see my thinking in the basement with the GIMP.
Right.
See, there's a parallel. I think about these things.
Wow.
Well, at least Mitch at one time was a sharp politician. He grew into his role currently, where she's always been who she is. Yeah.
Yes.
Vacuous. She and AOC, vacuous. All right.
No,
so what do people need to do to sign up for? Well, the parade is the parade. We're going to have that on the 10th, and it's going to happen. We're going to be there. We're going to be doing things. I'll be doing the reading of Just a Soldier to honor my friend, my dear deceased friend, Tony LoBianco. Tony was his last public appearance before he passed was to read Just a Common Soldier at our event. So God bless Tony and Elise and his family. We love them, and Tony was an amazing man. I'll do my best to step into his shoes for this, and then we're going to have it play out. But tell us what do people do? What can people do right now to join us in Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah,
there's a website for that, right?
Yeah. First of all, I know Tony would appreciate the fact that you're carrying this on, and we're going to do that every year. We're going to have that reading as long as we have anything to do with the parade. We're going to do that every year, so in honor of him.
Great. Yes, he was wonderful.
Yeah, we set up a special website since there's a lot of information about that, and it's separate from the parade. It's NVP, as in National Veterans Parade, benefitgala.com. So nvpbenefitgala.com has all the
Right.
information on there. I mean, it's not inexpensive to do. But here's what they get.
There it
First,
is. There it is.
yeah, you've been to Mar-a-Lago, and they have the most beautiful pool and reception area. There'll be an hour and a half of a reception. It's an open, high top shelf bar, open bar that's part of it for an hour and a half or so, and then there's a dinner, and the dinner is all catered by the Mar-a-Lago staff. It's going to be it's a fabulous dinner. And
Yeah. Well, the good news is many of our audience members actually are in Southern Florida, because that's where Ed lives, and we had George and some others on who live there. So I'm sure they can get word out to help
Right.
join us for this thing.
Well,
so
and
it'll be spectacular. So
yeah, and the thing about this, as opposed to other benefit galas that have been held at Mar-a-Lago, everyone who buys a ticket or a table for sponsorship also gets full sponsorship of the parade on November 10th. So companies that want to buy a table, let's say, um, they'll have signage. It's listed in the parade. They'll get the media hits. They'll get the promotion during the parade to thank them for being sponsors. And along the parade route, they'll have their banners will be there, and the Medal of Honor sponsor will get a float for the Grand Marshal. That's part of buying the ticket for the dinner. So
yeah,
and even the single tickets are tax deductible. So
yeah.
It's a great way of supporting. Again, we don't get paid for it, but
No,
any excess
this all
money
goes to running it. Yeah,
any excess
this
money.
isn't like this isn't like the Clinton Foundation where you get $2 billion and you build 5 homes in Haiti. This is not that kind of nonprofit. Like, yeah,
Not sure if
we
that's-
bought some, we built some houses. What do they want?
I'm not sure if that's going well now anyway. So
Yeah. Just saying. So
Yeah, and the nonprofit veteran service organizations, whether it's Mission 22 or Pulling for Vets or all the ones that are in the parade, our goal is to raise enough money to pay for the parade and also to help these nonprofits that are on the ground doing great work that's not necessarily being done by the VA or by the government.
Yeah.
So we recognize that, and we've talked to so many veterans and heard their stories, and what keeps us going is to hear the thank yous that come from veterans that are like, thanks. There's never been a national veterans parade before, and it could never be anywhere else but on Constitution Avenue in Washington, D.C. That's our national parade route. That's our city, or that. Anyway, so that's it. Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great.
So this is a great opportunity both for DC and the folks there to participate and jump in. I know, Fran, there was just one little glitch which I'll just mention, and it was not noted, as we had back at the beginning of the Hamas protests. Remember, October 7 it happened, and there was a bunch of knuckleheads who showed up and without obviously any authority, just kind of jumped in and marched. And it's like, okay, that was it. That was the only bad incident, which was so minor that nobody even wrote it up. It's like, these people are stupid. Just don't be stupid.
They didn't get the memo that veterans come from all parties, and there's no affiliation. And that's one of the great things about having an event in Washington that's not going to draw the scrutiny of the left, I guess, or anybody that doesn't like veterans.
I was going to say it's more about just basically wanting to disrupt the very thing. Even Waltz would have a hard time protesting something like this, because this is about the men and women who have served in uniform. Which as much as I'm going to be ragging on him, service is important to the nation. We have to have men and women in uniform to defend our borders. It's a hint, and our equities as a nation. So,
to defend and protect, exactly.
That's right.
Now, and it's going to be 5 days after the election, so it's going to be a really interesting time.
Washington.
So
I don't want to get political, but Fran, it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting. Well, all things, all things considered, if everything goes the way a lot of people want it, probably the majority of the people in this country want it, that are voting, but it'll be a celebration. It really it's a time where people can come to Washington with a permitted event insured. By the way, it's $10 million umbrella policy we have to pay for, which is tens of thousands of dollars. But having said that, it's going to be a safe venue. It's a Sunday. That's when the tourists are there in November. There'll be a big crowd. It'll be blocked and secured, and there'll be hundreds of Metro police in plain clothes. They block every intersection with the dump trucks, and it's not like a rally crowd that we've people go to. It's going to be something that they're going to celebrate our veterans and honor our veterans, and
Right.
There you go. I mean, there's no better way to do it and to show that.
So no, and I do want to touch on that for a second, because obviously, no matter what happens politically, we have to be the ones who bring sanity and stability to the outcome, and that's veterans. We talked about that at the event, that we are the bedrock which maintains the republic, and without us, without veterans, you have a very bleak future of the nation. So I think it's very important that we are honoring all of those who have stood in uniform, either the blue of the Air Force, the khaki of the Navy. I guess it's khaki what they wear on ships, the green of the Army, the sky, the kind of semi blue of the Coasties. I love the Coasties, by the way; they're great. And then the sheer stockings of the Space Force. No, I'm just joking about that. They don't wear stockings. They don't wear stockings. So.
Well, our veterans,
they are the junior service.
Yeah, our veterans are able to, express their true feelings of patriotism without worrying about stepping on toes on their, toe in the line for promotions. Right. They're already out of the service. So,
right.
All those things that are being done now that active military are, maybe resenting a little bit. Once you're a veteran, you don't have to have that responsibility of command. So, we got great support from veterans. It's just been really very heartwarming. So we appreciate it.
Yeah. So anyway, people check out the Veterans Parade. Check out the Mar-a-Lago website. We'll definitely have you back to talk about this as we make more progress towards the fall. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else we needed to cover on this, because I think it's so important. Go ahead.
If I could add, anybody listening that whether they're in the area or they have connection, we welcome the high school marching bands to come on that day.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Parade. If anybody would like to nominate their local band and have them contact through our website, nationalveteransparade.org. There's a application for marching bands. We welcome. We have We'll fit them in and give them prominence and exposure, and if they need to fundraise or anything for buses, the community gets behind you when you're going to represent your town in Washington for the Veterans Parade. So it's something we welcome. We'd like to see both the local, and we have some announcements to make on that coming up, but the music and the marching. Both the service bands and university and high school bands, we love a parade. I'm a parade guy. That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, having said that, thank you for the opportunity. And if they want to go and donate, right to the site for National Veterans Parade.org, we welcome that too. So thanks for letting us mention that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I got to get with you guys. I know we've been trying to get together, and you guys have seen my media schedule, and my cat Bug just passed, so we've been dealing with that. So it's been a hectic few weeks. Plus, Tony passed, and my friend John Tempone passed. So it's been a hectic summer, and not for the better.
It has been. We've been on the road too, and Diane's in Pennsylvania right now. She's in Butler, Pennsylvania.
So let's talk about that real quick. So you guys wanted me to be there with you at Butler, and we didn't end up going. We would have been there at the Trump.
We had the tickets. Yeah, they had seats with our names on them in the front, and we couldn't get away. But
I couldn't get away either. Because we wanted to drive up.
We had a large number of friends and family right in the front, and we have dear friends that were right next to the gentleman that was Corey that was was killed. nephews, brother-in-laws, two brother-in-laws. Yeah, they were right in the front. In fact, they were sending pictures because we got them the VIP tickets, and they were eating corn dogs and drinking water and having a great time, and they couldn't wait to see their first Trump rally. So, but no, we're at the Butler Farm Show this week, and on those grounds, Diane has done this, and the last thing she had time for was to do voter registration at the Butler Farm Show, but she connects with some of those the local politicians. In fact, all the people you hear on the news that have been involved in this, we know very well, and we know a lot of things that have been happening in the last few weeks.
Well, I don't want to get political, but now that we're there, we're in Butler virtually.
Yeah,
there's no doubt that there's something going on, because you've had FBI change its story from his Gab account was all pro-Trump to no, it wasn't. It was
that was
actually,
that was a different account too. Yeah.
yeah, and then now the disparities between Cheadle, I guess she's back guarding Cheetos, and now it comes out that she was also involved trying to hide Hunter Biden's cocaine. I mean, come on, folks. It's Hunter Biden's. No one else would be carrying cocaine into the White House. Let's just be real.
Well,
She tried to destroy it.
Joe looked a little more lucid certain days than more than others. So, there was also another attempt on Trump's life, by the way, just recently.
Yes. This has been flying under the radar. This is something that's been talked about, and the Iranians are looking at trying to take a shot at him too, so to speak. And I'm not joking about that. And
no.
So what do you make of all this, Fran, as an American, just watching the whole narrative thing play out?
Yeah, on the local level, there's a lot of things, and we know the sheriff there, the coroner, a lot of the people that were there.
Is the sheriff a good guy?
Yeah, he's a good guy, but he's it's a political CYA kind of a thing. He's a good guy, basically, but this is way above his head as far as handling this on a public relations standpoint. But one of the other things is the coroner bothers me a lot because they sent this body of this guy to Allegheny County, and they're not releasing the toxicology reports, which, Tony, as you know, there's a lot of things that it could have told us about what was in this guy's system. And so this stuff's all being covered up. In fact, I mean, for lack of another way of explaining it, this has been here's the thing. They have to take care of the local angle of this in this supposed lack of communication. So the local people aren't programmed as much as they are in the federal level of silence. So sooner or later somebody's going to be talking. But it's been a really rough couple of weeks on a lot of people that aren't used to this international scrutiny.
Yeah.
So
I'm not going to ask you about getting political, but I do want to ask you about your assessment, Fran, since you come from that area. A lot of folks believe it was a mistake for Kamala Harris to not pick Josh Shapiro. I don't want to ask you about that. Josh Shapiro is Josh Shapiro. I think it was a mistake. I think she blew a chance to get Pennsylvania. I still don't think they would have gone for Kamala, even if Shapiro was the guy, just saying. But a lot of folks, Fran, feel that this election is going to come down to Western Pennsylvania, how they go. What do you think?
Well, I think you're right. And I think it was a big mistake, to make your first major presidential style decision on the way it went. But as far as Shapiro goes, I know a little bit about Pennsylvania politics, being from there. Yeah. And I do know that, he had designs for 2028 to throw his hat in the ring. And and again, I'm not going to be political. I just want to talk about facts. And,
no, we're just talking. We're just talking
my opinion is that, the Democrats, although they appear to always stick together when it comes to policy, in the back room, they eat their own young. That's why they have such a thin bench. And I think the effort was made to make sure he doesn't get his name out there on a national level. That's my opinion. But you know, his faith is another issue that you can throw in there. But you know, I don't think he's got. I think that the word is already out that he's a state governor, and that's going to be it. You know, so. But they should have. They would have had a much better shot at Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania is really the Keystone State, and it's the key. It's known for that for a reason, because it's critical.
It makes sense
From
because they already have.
There's 75% of them are voting one way. We'll put it that way.
So yeah, well, but this is one of the issues too, where I think policy matters. And again, I'm not asking you to get political, but I want to talk about policy because that's what I do. And so, one of the things you and I talked about at a personal level, just because of who we are, is the need to maintain a strong economy. I think Western Pennsylvania deserves, like America, a strong economy. One of the economic resources that's available to Western Pennsylvania is fracking. There's a lot of gas out there. As a matter of fact, if people study history, some of the first oil wells were in Western Pennsylvania, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Fran,
yeah. I just feel, yeah, well, that's very close to where I grew up, and yeah, oil started in Pennsylvania, and
right.
There's more oil in Pennsylvania than there is in Saudi Arabia. You know,
That's what I'm saying. So why how do you think Kamala's message of, well, I'm going to ban fracking. Oh, never mind. I'm just joking. Do you think people are going to believe her? It's like, yeah, I'm not going to really ban fracking now. What do you think?
Yeah, well, in 2012, when fracking hit, the economy of Western Pennsylvania just boomed. There were
Exactly,
you know, from the micro hotels and restaurants. You know, I know somebody in the trucking business that sells the international trucks. Just went crazy with equipment, everything from you know, the piping. People bought trucks and went into business to pump up brown water. People the jobs it created, and also the leases on property. We have property in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania, and you know, we had gas leases that paid for the opportunity to drill on that property to get gas rights. And the farmers were making fine track. I mean, it was just incredible. And then it went off like a spigot, and that's when PVC pipe went through the roof. And you know, companies like North Face that were saying that they were against the oil and fracking industry until they realized that 95% of their clothing is made from petroleum.
I know, it's insane, isn't it?
It's not just gas in the car; it's everything.
Well, let me hit that real quick. Do you know they want to ban plastic utensils now? Which plastic silverware has always been like a oxymoron, but they want to ban the basic things that you and I would use, disposable, single-use utensils. Right. It's insane.
We went from plastic straws with a paper wrapper to paper straws in a plastic wrapper.
That's insane. I know. They still put it in the plastic. It was one or other, but
I live in New York, so we already had these insane policies around for a while anyway. Not the plastic stuff, but
yeah, but it's insane. It's irrational. So, like at the moment we're speaking, if you at home do this too, because you can play along. Right. If you look around the room, you will see everything from the surface of I'm sure the surface of whatever you're touching is probably coated in some plastic to protect it. I'm sitting in a chair that's made of nylon. I'm drinking a cup made from ground juice, you know,
petroleum.
From that. Petroleum. Everything we do. The thing I'm speaking into here, this cover is made of petroleum. And I don't think people understand that you cannot have modern civilization without having an adequate and sustainable level of petroleum, of oil, whatever you want to call it.
But they do understand that. That's the problem. These elites in the World Economic Forum, and of course their minions, do understand that, and they think the best way to keep the power for themselves. And I know it sounds a little weird here. Ooh, weird. How about that? But they keep everybody kind of more dependent on smaller or lesser available of kinds of fuels, so they can be at the basically at the elite's mercy. And then you put
That's
together
true.
that you
So
weaken the powerful nations to bring them down to the third world instead of help the third world move forward.
that's happening in Germany. That's where
Right.
Germany's going. They've abandoned natural gas. They've abandoned
Yes.
all the other nuclear. Nuclear is the most economic and safe means of energy production on the planet. Yet
Doesn't make
somehow,
money. Right.
no, it's unbelievable. I mean, even if you look at the stats regarding safety, more people die in the gas and oil industry every year by an order of magnitude. It ain't even close. Once you get a plant up and running, it basically is self-sustaining, other than having to move fuel rods in and out on occasion, which, by the way, is super duper safe. It's completely irrational. Yet, Fran, Germany's giving up like 8 nuclear plants so they can go back to the Stone Age. How is this rational? And again, this goes to, a question of policy, not politics. The policy is to essentially undermine what people need to live reasonable, happy lives. What do you think?
Well, I grew up in the save the whales and no nukes, era, and
Yeah.
it was the first. It was a media driven narrative that we needed to save the oceans and have no nukes. And, they were doing the no nukes concerts, and they were drilling. And in retrospect, you wonder where the impetus of that came from.
Yeah, you
and
do.
who was responsible for it, because it's the most energy self-sufficient. I mean, the French have realized it, and they've gone back to the
Yes,
nuclear.
they've gone forward. It's like, yeah, we're going to do it.
They're all in it.
But
Yeah, I mean, it takes a certain high level of technology that the third world doesn't have unless we put one in there, and that's not going to happen as readily because it takes a lot of professional technical people to maintain one of those, and no one wants to go to Mogadishu to have a nuclear power plant.
No, I agree, but I think that's where Western Pennsylvania can go either way, because I think you have adequate number of farm animals, and if you take their manure and dry it, you can use it to burn. I think so. That's the other option, Fran. Maybe you should line up and do that, do a manure for power movement, just in case the Democrats win, and that way you're ahead of the curve. You could be stinky but effective.
Yeah, my sister-in-law has a donkey farm, and she has.
There you go.
Yeah, get that stuff going, and it stinks. I can tell you that.
She's not a Democrat, is she? Just curious, because Democrats and donkeys, yeah.
No, and they're nasty. They kick and they bite, so that's why the Democrats probably.
And so do the Democrats too.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of kicking and biting Democrats, here you go.
Yeah.
Two squad members are now down primary wise.
Oh, that's right.
Corey Bush, the L
Corey
just
Bush.
recently.
Corey Bush.
Yeah, Corey Bush is out. The
It's
angriest
going to be the semi-squad.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
I think
like
she vowed a jihad on Congress when she heard she lost. Just saying.
Right.
So,
well, these are the minor squad members anyway. That and Jamal Fire Alarm Bowman, they're down. They're gone. And
yeah.
But that actually brings me back to the question, Tony. You asked Fran just a little while ago, not picking Josh Shapiro for the vice president. What may have been a grave mistake for the Democrats, because it's not, because that could have improved, or at least helped improve Jewish voter relations. I mean, there are going to be lefty Jewish people who will vote for them anyway, but the people in the center who kind of vote Democrat normally, but are voting people like Bush and the squad out. That's where I'm going.
Right. So, let's talk about that, Fran. Again, I'm not trying to get political here. Right. But I'm going to say something that Van Jones said. Van Jones, who's not a conservative, by the way, said on CNN that, quote unquote, anti-Semitism is marbled into the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
Marbled. He said it's marbled, as in it's like if you look at marble, I think it's a great analogy. So there he is.
And protected in plastic, by the way.
Yeah, he's not marble. I'm saying he's not marble, but he said that the Democrat Party has marbled into it. As like, when you take bread and you put cheese, you kind of knead it. So now he said it, not me, that the Democrat Party is anti-Semitic. Do you think that's true, Fran?
Well, I think he also said it was the darker part of the Democrat Party. So I guess he can speak for that.
The chocolate nougat middle. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that soft, gooey center.
South Korea Center.
No,
That could be.
he's right. And, he's a lot of things, but he tends to be able to accidentally tell the truth every once in a while.
He accidentally stumbles on it about every couple of years. Absolutely.
He really did. And, Josh Shapiro would, my thought is, would they have gained more Jewish votes than losing Muslim votes, or that whatever there was?
I think they would have lost more Muslim Hamas caucus. This was about the Hamas caucus, Fran.
The Hamas caucus.
That's why
Hamas caucus.
it is. It was about the Hamas caucus, and Waltz is part of it. Waltz is part of
Yes,
you know.
Yeah.
This is their strategy for this three. As my friend Blaine Holt, General Holt, always says, they are looking at a 3-state solution: Minnesota, Michigan, and Wisconsin. So this is all about their belief that if we pick a guy who comes across as Elmer Fudd and kind of runs around wearing orange, is a kind of homey guy, talks about people sleeping with couches, he's going to be doing just fine. And he's got that Minnesota, shucks, oofta fida. He's going to be doing all the Minnesotan, don't you know? Oh, I went to Maynard's. Menards. I'm sorry, I missed it. Menards. I went to Menards and I had to find a manure sifter for my backyard.
He sounds like the male Sarah Palin, if you will.
Yeah. Well, his snitch line is his version of neighborliness.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, snitch on your neighbors, friends, and family.
I don't know.
Don't you know?
I don't really like my neighbors, so I have a hard time with neighborliness anyway.
Oh man, well, yeah, I'm lucky. My neighbor's a little down the road too, or else they wouldn't like me either. So that's another point.
I like my Fran. You've been to my house.
You have great
nice neighbors there.
Well, I have to tell you,
we're far away from each other.
I really don't have neighbors because all the houses around me are all weekly rental vacation homes. So I'm the only person on my street with a mailbox. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. So, Fran, don't you have a female box too? You can't discriminate like that, right?
Yeah, it's a
male and female box. You got to have both.
It's a he, she, him box.
It's a Walls boys bathroom tampon box. How about that?
It's got a tampon holder on the side.
That's right.
That's right. That's important. You got to make sure you cover everything. By the way, I'm just on a personal note. If I were one of those high schoolers and I saw that in there, man, oh man, would I have fun with tampons? Just saying, it's like I would be a holy terror with those things. Well, I'd be sticking them in places they aren't supposed to be. I'd be using them as like airplanes. I'd be making little paper airplanes around them and throwing
telescopes.
Oh my God.
Like yeah.
Oh yeah, I would have been a terror.
Well, maybe Walls wanted that.
I think 4th grade was the grade level that was down to. So you can you imagine a 4th or 5th grader running around with a new toy.
That's right. But this goes a little deeper. The idea of sexualizing 4th graders, 4th grade boys, telling them, "Oh, it's okay to wear tampons and be a girl if you want to be." The fact is, you're telling this to very impressionable children who might just wear their mom's dress for fun one day and take it off. But these people, these educators will interfere. The governor is a party to this. And this is something we have to really look into. And these are the people that want to run our country.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think, and friend, again, on a personal, we're friends in real life.
Yeah.
But can you imagine, Walls is younger than me. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, like the day of the parade, we were out all day, hours and hours and hours. We had a lot of work. It was a long day. I mean, come on, it was a really long day.
Yeah.
I don't think Waltz could keep up. That guy looks like if you get him out of the Dunkin' Donuts, he's got a duration of about 10 minutes. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, you were talking about famous people that he looked like. I think he looks like a really old Marlon Brando.
Oh, yeah. Well,
you remember him. He has puffy, swelled, a lot of swollen. He just has a swelled up look. Yeah.
Well, I think he has Carol O'Connor syndrome. I mean, Carol O'Connor was 41. Was it 40 or 41 when he started All in the Family? And he looked like Ted Walls.
Yeah.
With hair.
Yeah.
Great actor. Great actor.
He was a great actor, and a lot of my friends speak highly of him. You know, I've got a lot of rock and roll Hollywood friends that I stay in contact with. But and I'm going to try to see if I can get a couple of them to show up and do something with us too.
He was in
So anyway,
You think
Walls
Walls looks like
Kelly's
this guy?
Heroes. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
he's going for the Klaus Schwab look. I think he wants that.
Last one.
Yeah, I think he wants that big jowl thing. I
Yeah.
I
There's
think
a guy into neighborliness, I'm sure.
you will eat cheese curds and like it. So the cheese curd diet, cheese curd and bugs.
Yeah, Carol O'Connor and Kelly's Heroes. It was absolutely hilarious.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Speaking of movies, that is one of my favorite movies, Kelly's Heroes. I've been trying to get my son to watch it. Ryan. Alex, I think, has watched it. Ryan is like, oh, it's an old movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
For goodness sake.
We had a tank reenact. Well, it was an old tank on a flatbed, and the guy that was popping out of the turret looked like Donald Sutherland in that movie. He was dressed.
That's great.
Cool.
No, I don't think we could do it, but would you be okay if I try to get some aviation assets for the thing? If we can do something with one of the guard units?
The more the merrier.
I have some ideas. I'd love to do something where
we want to make this a spectacle, and entertainment is everything. And the more assets we can bring to this, that people will enjoy. We have the whole afternoon. We have our permit running from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. as far as control of the streets. Yeah. So we have Constitution Avenue, which is unheard of to have it closed.
Oh, I know.
I
saw Angie was out taking pictures after the parade, just with her on the road. Angie Wong was our master of ceremonies, and she was actually in the road taking pictures of, like, before they reopen it, about how incredible it was. You're standing out in this always active road, able to kind of hang out and take pictures. So anyway, Fran, we got to go. It's been a great show. Thank you for joining us and playing along. It's been fun, and let's stay in touch, because we have to. And I know we want to get together. I know you have the plaque for me, which I want to do in person. I don't want you guys to mail it to me. Just saying. I appreciate it.
We want to present it to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do that. As a matter of fact, why don't we do that? I'm having a fundraiser. I'm trying to pick the date. I want you there. My dear friend and fellow candidate, but she's running for Congress. I'm running for county commissioner. Lori Buckout is wanting to do a fundraiser for me. So why don't we do it at the fundraiser? Is that okay?
That would be wonderful. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to do that. So let me tell you when that date's going to be. I'm trying to work out dates right now. I'll run them by you guys for it. We pick a date. But we're going to do it down at the Herringbone here in Edenton, which is a great place. By the way, for those who visit Edenton, come to Edenton. It's a great place. It's Mayberry RFD on the water. Right, Fran? It's very, very traditional.
Yeah. We stopped there after a dear friend's funeral services in Edenton. We love Edenton. Yeah. It's really historic. So yeah, if you ever get a chance to stop there, home of the Frogmen.
Oh, that's right, and home of the Tea Party, the real Tea Party, the women.
First Tea Party, in the 18.
The Frogmen and the women. That's right. By the way, that's a beautiful view. It is just like that.
And it's the home of the Thurston Howell Band, as you said before.
That's right? No. That's Charlotte. That's Charlotte. Although
I was hoping for both. All right. Well, darn.
Anyway, no, I'd love to have the Thurston Howell Band here. We'd be out doing 80s stuff and 70s stuff all the time.
That'll be cool.
Anyway, we got to go. Folks, our Patriot friends, thank you for being here again. We love you all. We're going to have you back soon. I guess Monday, right? We're back on Monday, right, Chris?
We are back on Monday. Yes, that's correct. That's terrific. We have some good
my
stuff.
Friend Larry Schweikert of University of Dayton will be picking up and doing the show tomorrow, which I love. Larry and I are real friends in real life. He's one of my early supporters on something called Able Danger. If you all want to Google that and wake up and say, what the hell's going on? So otherwise, Fran, again, thank you, and Diane, for everything you do to support veterans and the parade. And Chris, I'll see you later today. We have another interview with my boss, other boss. I'm talking to all my bosses today. I'm talking to Fran, and I'm talking to Chris Ruddy. Man, I'm going to be having to be in my best behavior for a change.
Yeah, you might have to wear a tie too. So I have to wear a tie as well, I guess, right? Oh well,
I'm not wearing a tie. I'm not changing. I'm not changing for Chris.
Well, I'm
So anyway,
overwhelmed,
Fran, thanks
so-
for being here. Patriots,
Thank
thanks for
you.
being here. We'll see you Monday. Take care. Have a good week.
You as well, guys. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks.